Welcome to HRTech Edge, brought to you by Edge Linking, where we explore the latest trends and insights in HR and technology. I'm your host, Bhakti, and today we have a very esteemed guest with us, Jeff Williams, the CEO of Aptia US. Jeff, thank you for joining us.
Bhakti, thank you very much. It's great to be here with you today.
So, Jeff, let's get straight to the questions. So, Jeff, your background highlights an expertise in understanding employee needs. So let's dive right in. What are some key differences in what today's employees, particularly Gen Z, look for in the benefit package compared to previous generations?
Yeah, it certainly is changing out there from a demographic perspective. We have 5 generations in the workforce today, and a lot of those benefit plans and programs were built by and have primarily been serving boomers and Gen X populations. Yet, we've had this explosion of and Gen Z workers, and it's very, very clear to us that the dynamics of the younger worker are changing relative to benefit programs and benefit delivery. I would say that in general, the reliance on what we term to be the big 3, which are retirement savings, health and welfare programs, and time off, that was kind of the bedrock of the older generation. The younger generation very much wants that flexible time off and whatever time off they can get. But we're finding that they're a little bit less interested in the health and welfare and retirement benefits, and they're more interested in having a broader array of choices. And some of those choices could be mental health programs. Some of those choices could be perks and discounts. It could be pet insurance, which is obviously a trend that's out there today. So we're seeing differences in the nature of what the Gen Z worker defines as their core. And we're also finding they want more choice, more control, more flexibility, delivered in a more tech-forward way so they can help make their own choices rather than being told what they should decide.
So understanding this generational shift is crucial for companies looking to attract top talent. So, how can companies structure benefit packages to attract and retain Gen Z talent while managing costs?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to ensuring you first understand who you want to be as an employer, what matters to you as an employer. If you are a company that believes in workplace mental health, for example, make sure that your benefit package includes those things. So being kind of true and authentic to your purpose as an employer, I think is really the most important thing, because I think your employees will quickly uncover if what you're saying is different than the benefits you're providing. So I think that's the first point. And the second point is, I really understand your people want. It doesn't hurt to ask them what benefits they value. Now, you can't just say things like, pick from a long list of benefits the things that you'd like, because, everybody's going to pick everything. I think if you frame it up if you had these choices, would you prefer to have more time off or more mental health benefits? Would you rather have more discounts for things like the gym or legal services? Would you prefer that to a bigger 401k employment match? I think having your employees help you on what benefits matter to them, I think you'll find it can be very productive as you structure your benefit plans. And then I highly recommend getting the help of a broker or an advisor to come in and really assess to assess the environment you have today. What are you spending your benefit money on? What experience do your people have? And how could you better deploy that capital to deliver better outcomes? So getting some advice along the way can really help. And then potentially using a company like ours so we can make sure that your benefits are delivered in a tech-forward, in an employee-centric way. And then you don't have to worry about being compliant or managing the risk of all that. We'll take all of that up. That administrative burden can become ours. You can be busy focusing on the HR programs that matter, and we can be busy making sure your employees have peace of mind, and we'll deliver them well. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to better understand who you are as a company, what matters to your people, and then to seek out delivery that can support those aims and then deliver in a way that's inspiring to your team. I think there's a lot of opportunity for employers, and that doesn't have to be that complicated. There's a lot of help out there you can get.
I'm sure there's a lot of opportunity. So what you just mentioned about, what is important to an organization and what is more, value, what would add more value to an employee. So linking employee benefit to their overall engagement is another critical aspect. So what just came to my mind, like, why can't companies have a customized benefit plan for the employers? So, that would help in retaining employers for a longer time.
Yeah,
What do you think about it?
we're seeing more of that. The Society of Human Resource Management, sure, just did their annual benefit study, and they kind of chronicle what's out there, what's available in benefit programs, and they're tracking over 215 different benefit types that are out there. I mean, it's not just, health insurance, retirement savings, and time off anymore. We're seeing things like financial wellness and specialty pharma, things like the GLP-1 drugs, and things like women's health. If you have a, older female population, maybe things like menopausal benefits are important to that population. I think it's really understanding who you are and what matters, because there is a vast array of choices out there to provide. But you also want to avoid kind of the spray and pray approach, which is, I'm going to give you all the choice in the world, Mr. or Ms. Employee, and you figure it out. I think curating benefits that matter, making sure the employee understands what their cost is versus what the potential benefit is, and kind of helping them navigate that process is really critical for our employees to feel like they've got the peace of mind through a satisfactory benefit structure.
Right. So, I mean, it's more like incentivizing right thing to right one.
Through the right channel. So, if you've got a highly remote workforce, that workforce may be more interested in telehealth as a benefit, for example. So it's kind of meeting people where they are as well, Bhakti.
Correct. Absolutely, Jeff. So on the same note, I would like to understand, so can companies utilize these strategic benefits structuring to incentivize employee engagement?
We see it absolutely. Employees that feel like their benefits, meeting them where they are and that have a high degree of satisfaction with their benefits. We see stats from MetLife's 2024 study that suggests, they're 1.5 times likely to be more productive. They're 1.5 times likely to be more engaged, and they're going to be more loyal. The attrition trend in your people, if they feel invested in the benefit program, they're less likely to depart your organization. So this isn't just a nice to have. It's actually a critical talent retention strategy that I don't think employers should underestimate.
That's true. I mean, we've come a long way from how things were practiced before as the traditional offerings and what are the things that we practice now. So understanding that, on that note, what innovative benefit option do you see companies explore to attract and retain top talent?
Again, I think it really varies, but if you kind of think about, I'll pick one as an example, an emerging category that I think is very interesting given the state of play in the United States, and that is a student loan repayment. There's an issue out there today of this big balloon of $1 trillion of student debt. And, it's to be determined whether or not the federal government is going to come in and save the day for the students that have taken those loans. But in the meantime, you've got a generation under extreme pressure around, there's a tremendous opportunity there for employers to help people in early mid-career to provide benefits to help retire those student debt obligations, regardless of what happens at the federal level. I mean, picture it. You come out of college, you get a new job you're really excited about, but you've got this huge burden of student debt that you're carrying around. It can be distracting. It can affect your mental health. It certainly affects your financial well-being, and it affects your focus at work as a result. Employers that recognize that in their populations and come along with some sort of repayment type benefit can really differentiate themselves with a Gen Z and also a millennial worker. We think it's a very, very interesting category. And it's not like you have to come in and pay off the entirety of someone's student loan debt, but you can make a real effort deliver a real financial benefit, that individual is going to value probably much more than a retirement savings benefit, which might seem a long way off when they're staring at these loans that they've taken.
Wow. And does Aptia really practices this kind of activities?
Yeah, well, we'll make sure that we'll thought partner with you and your broker to really understand who your population is, and we will absolutely help you implement those programs. Our success is really built on participants, so the employees having the peace of mind to be focused at work and to provide for their families. And for our clients, it's to make sure that their people are well taken care of and that they're spending their money effectively on these programs. And then for our broker partners who distribute these products, it's giving them the confidence that they made the right decision recommending it. So we try to perform for all of those stakeholders, and we believe we're the best at it in the United States of America.
I'm sure you must be. So, just to understand that, does Aptia also help streamline these systems for all the companies that are using their services?
Yeah, we'll make sure you've got a streamlined enrollment and eligibility management system. We'll make sure your benefits are well understood. We provide decision support tools that help you navigate the system. And we can also speak to you about benefits that make the most sense for you. And that runs right from early stage hiring earlier in your career, right through your retirement. I mean, think about it as you're an individual getting ready for retirement, and, how do you go from, accumulating wealth to consuming your wealth? What do you do about your retiree health care? How do you make sure navigating that transition really well? We have licensed advisors that can really help you understand how to transition from, being a worker to being a retiree. And again, giving you the confidence to make really good choices around what do you count on with Medicare versus what do you need to supplement with a private policy. We'll help you with all of that work. And we can help clients make sure these people who've given so much to their company are well taken care of in retirement. The reality of it is employers today are not giving the same level of benefits to their retirees as they used to. So we can come in and help with that advice gap and make sure that the employee understands what they're headed for.
That's very insightful, Jeff. So moving on to the favorite topic that I really like speaking about is the shift of hybrid work models. Adapting benefit package is more important than ever. So with the rise of hybrid models, how can companies ensure their benefit package cater equally to on-site, hybrid, and fully remote employees?
Yeah, I think it's making sure that you're delivering where people are. I think there's, it used to be you came in and you spoke to someone in person and they talked to you about your benefits. Now today, we're leveraging contact centers and an online platform, chat, and text messaging to make sure that we're able to get to people in the channels in which they want to communicate with us. And we're also making sure that we're helping companies assess, decide, and implement programs that recognize people are operating in a virtual setting. A very, very simple example of that is commuter benefits, the old car allowance. So, you may not need benefits if the vast majority of your population is remote. So can you take those benefits, for example, and use them for things like internet access or an allowance for office equipment or whatever is going to be more valuable to a remote worker? So I think that is a critical evolution as well. And maybe the third one I'd highlight is what we see a little bit with remote workers is they don't keep the exact same traditional hours that the in-office worker did. So they're kind of managing the edges of their day a little bit differently. They're not doing it maybe in a vehicle or a commuter train, but maybe they're using that time to do things like their benefits. Being able to provide them 24/7 access to their programs and to people that can help them really, I think, is something that appeals to the remote worker. We're really trying to level the playing field, the education. We're trying to kind of democratize the information that allows people to make really good choices and again, feel really confident in the choices they make.
So again, on the same note, I would really appreciate if you answer this question. So you know how US culture is and how Indian culture is, if you're aware of it. So how does Aptia, try to understand what you just mentioned about providing equipment and then detracting one expense to other department? How do you make sure that the culture influences this kind of thing? Like how things might work out for US companies. How different is it for the Indian companies? Because I'm sure you might have clients all across the globe.
We were talking about before we get on here, I've spent 6 months of my life in India. I've been there 25 times and have worked at a few different companies with large Indian populations. I have a good sense for what's common and what's different between the two countries. The one thing I would say is that the needs are similar. Employees, they want to do good work. They want to take care of their families. They want to maximize their savings. They want to feel like they are well cared for from a health and wealth perspective, and they want time off to enjoy life. So all of those things about what people value aren't that different. What is different is in the way they get delivered, and maybe the priorities we place on things. So for instance, is benefit we find much more popular in India is a mobile phone benefit, and being able to provide a stipend that allows that mobile phone cost to be largely covered and to potentially come with a new device on a regular basis is a very, very attractive benefit for our workers there. And we make sure we try and accommodate that. And we know that are very focused on that. There's mandated benefits that play into the overall cost a little bit differently. So think of transportation benefits, particularly for male workers. Like we take that obligation and that responsibility very seriously. So we make sure that we've got the right amount of money spent. We have the right service providers. We have the right security firms. And we're doing all of that to make sure we deliver a really, really solid transportation benefit. We make sure our clients think of it that way as well. So I think we have a pretty good handle on the nuances and the differences between the markets. I would say we also recognize the commonalities, which are people really want to do good work. They really want to take care of their families, and they really want to try and get ahead. And benefit programs can help them do that.
I'm sure recognizing the commonalities and, working and customizing those needs to penetrate more in the hyperlocal markets surely would have affected Aptia's success. So speaking of the technology, Aptia launched earlier this year. Can you share some insights on how Aptia's platform streamlines benefit administration in today's hybrid?
Our core enrollment engine really provides a simple, straightforward, yet comprehensive way for an employee to enroll in their benefit program. We help them along the way with guidance and navigation support. We offer them decision support tools based on their experience and based on their priorities and desires. And we try and deliver that in a way that's readily understandable and consumable. But we're also not just a technology company. We have licensed contact center people available who are very experienced, who are able to help an employee understand the nature of those choices and what the benefits are that are available to them through their company's program. And we also make sure that things that are provided by different suppliers, so think about things like spending accounts, HSA, FSA capabilities that are delivered to employees, that those are delivered through an integrated experience as well. So it's really about providing a front-end technology layer that people can understand how to navigate, that they can have clarity around the decisions that they're making, that they have real human support when they need it, and at the end have a great summary of what they've decided on and what they should expect. So we feel pretty confident that we've got a very core technological capability backed by the best people in the industry.
I'm sure, human touch is extremely important and significant, irrespective however technology grows and, leverages itself. So again, on the same note, I want to understand, Jeff, leveraging technology can be a game changer in delivering high quality benefit efficiently. So how does company leverage technology to deliver high quality benefits at lower cost?
Yeah, I think it starts with understanding your data. So, where are your people? What do you know about them relative to what they want and what they're consuming today? So I think it's really important to understand the nature of the benefit experience delivering right now. And then choosing between options that can deliver you, again, things that are congruent with who you want to be culturally and with what your people need. An example, maybe the best way to say it is in the form of an example. There is my last employer, we had a health and wellness application that we were skeptical about. Did it really work? Did it really deliver benefits? And that application provider could show us very clearly that the employees who engaged in that platform were healthier, they were happier at work, and they consumed less healthcare expense. It's just an example of an opportunity that's out there working in conjunction with your broker and with people like us to deliver a digital-first application that really made a tangible difference in the health outcomes of the population engaged in it. With such a wide array of choices, I think it really starts, again, one more time, with who you want to be, what the data is telling you, what your budget looks like, and then maximizing the performance of that budget in the way you deliver your benefit programs. And there's such good advice out there on how to get going and how to make a real difference to your company and to your people and to their families.
It's like a holistic experience, employee experience.
The way we think about it. Yep.
So coming on the same note, so Aptia handles core benefit administration. How can companies integrate your services with other HR systems to create more holistic employee experience?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we like to think of ourselves as an agnostic provider, so we can integrate with whatever your core HR information system is today. We can make sure we deliver in a way that's simple and straightforward for your people. So whether you're using one of the big HR information systems or whether you're big payroll providers, we'll make sure that we provide an experience that is easy for them to navigate. Just think of the most simple things as single sign-on, that type of capability that allows for seamless transition to our services. And we'll make sure that we integrate in such a way that, again, for example, your benefit payments that come out of your paycheck are deducted and go towards your health insurance, and do all of that seamlessly, so you don't have to worry about bill payments. We handle all of that on your behalf. I would say that wherever you come from on your HR technology journey, a company like Aptia can definitely come in and come alongside you for the next generation of benefit service delivery.
Wow, that's a really futuristic way of looking at things. So moving on to the last question of the podcast, how can companies and benefit providers adapt their strategies to address the evolving needs of growing retiree population while ensuring the sustainability of retirement plans for future generations?
Yeah, it's really been a big change over a 40-year period. We've gone from most organizations providing a pension plan of some kind, certainly the larger ones, to now it's less than 20% of companies that provide a pension plan. And what's happened is a lot of that obligation has shifted to the employee to kind of figure out their future. So companies provide allowances for healthcare, they provide matching for retirement savings, but they aren't taking the obligation with them. Not to get too technical from an accounting perspective, but it's much more accounting friendly and much better for a company to not be carrying these open-ended pension obligations, hence the delivery of stipends and matching and turning that obligation over to them. So we've seen that huge tectonic plate shift really over the course of 2 generations. And now today, what you have is individuals trying to scout the, on the wealth side, the annuity markets, the insurance markets, the decumulation markets, to figure out the best way to optimize their financial health in retirement, and we could help and support that. And you're finding that they are also trying to figure out, what kind of healthcare do I need? How is that going to get delivered? What's covered by my post-65 public care versus what do I have to supplement, both medical and pharma and supplemental. So it's a complex world out there. I think the employers have done their work in making it clear what their obligations are going to be to their employees. But we're finding those employees need more support from companies like ours, again, to give them the confidence to enter retirement in a cost-effective and in a way that delivers they and their families peace of mind. So it's an evolving space, but definitely one where the employee needs more support than probably they ever have, because it's just gotten more complicated. The choices have more diffused. And I just think that if I was heading to retirement right now, I would certainly want some advice, because it's a vast world of choices out there. I'll want to make sure I make it.
When people today have become so aware about financial things, irrespective, it's from being any part of the gender, it's a male or a female. Earlier, it used to be like females weren't more aware about a lot of financial. But now people are, because of the social media, they have a lot of awareness about things. Jeff, thank you for sharing this valuable insight. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to HR Tech Edge, brought to you by Edge Linking. Stay tuned for more insights and latest trends with the industry leaders. Until next time, signing off, your host, Bhakti.